eating fava beans can be harmless unless you have G6PD deficiency. In that case, oxidative stress from those beans overwhelms red blood cells that lack NADPH. That leads to hemolysis. Why NADPH? Well, that's needed to regenerate glutathione. It's a main antioxidant defense of red blood cells. Without it, your cell membranes are going to break down, and that's why the correct answer is going to be glutathione reduction. It's a key role for your NADPH from the pentose phosphate pathway. And so I know you guys are thinking, oh my goodness, what is the pentose phosphate pathway? It's been so long. Well, what we need to know here is just that the G6PD deficiency causes hemolysis and oxidative stress, and fava beans are associated with that. That's pretty much all you really need to know to answer this question correctly. So we got a man eating his favorite fava beans, delicious, dark urine, and anemia. He lacks the enzyme that converts glucose 6-phosphate to ribulose 5-phosphate. What is the main biochemical role in the production of that reaction? Okay, so this is going to be your glutathione reaction. So NADPH from the PPP is essential to regenerate glutathione. So the 3 steps that you need to answer this question and all like it correctly in the future. 1, the patient's symptoms of fatigue, dark urine, back pain. That's what we should be looking at, right? This is going to be alongside like anemia, so like hemoglobin of like 7, and jaundice. So he's got all these problems. What does that suggest? Hemolytic anemia. Okay, so G6PD is known to cause hemolysis, right? So that's our first clue. And especially your fava beans, right? That's a huge clue into all this. 2, the role of G6PD in the pentose phosphate pathway. So G6PD catalyzes the first step in pentose phosphate pathway. What is that first step? Converting glucose 6-phosphate into ribulose 5-phosphate. That is the first step. You know, of course, yeah, you have the 6-phosphoglutamate step in there, but you know what I mean? Like that is the central role of the pentose phosphate pathway. We got to get to ribulose first, and we start with our G6 phosphate, right? So that's what the PPP does. And G6PD catalyzes that first step, right? It is the rate limiting step of the pentose phosphate pathway. So you're eating all your fava beans, you're going to disrupt this little pathway here, and you're not going to have the glutathione able to kind of neutralize all these threats in your body. So step 3, NADPH's role in the biosynthesis process. NADPH produced in the PPP is essential for fatty acid synthesis, cholesterol synthesis, and steroid synthesis, right? It provides the reducing equivalents needed for those anabolic processes, differentiating it from NADH, which is primarily involved in energy production through your ATP synthesis, your citric acid cycle, all that good fancy stuff. NADPH is essential for fatty acid synthesis, cholesterol synthesis, and all that stuff, all that jazz. So yeah, this is a glutathione reaction. That's the reason he's having his hemolysis. So his membranes are just going to be breaking down because he doesn't have an antioxidant defense in his red blood cells anymore. Why doesn't he have that? Because the PPP isn't working. Why isn't the PPP working? Because he doesn't have NADPH. Why doesn't he have NADPH? Because he's got the G6PD deficiency. Why is that problematic with eating fava beans? Well, the oxidative stress of the beans overwhelms the red blood cells that lack the NADPH, causing the hemolysis. Right? So this person's got a G6PD problem, and so he has a problem making these NADPHs. So he gets overwhelmed by a bunch of beans, and so instead of focusing on the antioxidant defense of red blood cells, they're focused on the beans. And so now you've got a whole bunch of membrane breakdown, and it causes the problems that you see in this patient, which is going to be his anemia, his jaundice, fatty acid and cholesterol synthesis, respiratory burst stuff. Yeah, that's the way to think about this. That's how you do it. That's the way. I like it. And we will see you in the next video. Don't look at this too long. Don't freak yourself out. Just like and subscribe. Keep calm and like and subscribe.